Welcome to Fate Awaken, and we have here Awaken the Minis, Boneyard set from Icons of the Realms. Welcome to episode 3 of Awaken the Minis. 2 more boxes. Double that this time. Uh-oh. Screw the whole thing.
Oh, that's tragic. That was immensely tragic.
Suspense.
Mini 1. Uh-oh, I see a skull.
It's the undead set.
That is a Demilich.
Demilich.
Interesting.
Second one. Slaad.
Death slaad. So many flashbacks.
And what are you? Phantom Warrior.
Good with a spectral warrior we got before.
And the Ogre Zombie.
Over zombie.
Interesting mix.
Let's go box 2.
Bunch of undead stuff.
It's almost like this.
And an aberration, which is
This one is pretty big, guys. It's probably the biggest one so far.
my suspense.
Uh-oh.
The suspense.
The Invisible.
We got a bagler hanging out somewhere.
Oh, here goes the second bagler.
Free roamer.
Oh, we got another zombie.
Zombie.
What is this one? This is a
Warrior.
Sword Wraith Warrior, second one of those.
Wraith Warrior.
And this one, Drowned Assassin.
Ooh.
And here's our giant one,
What in the
Oh!
ungodly?
Atropal.
Very
That's a big one.
disturbing.
It's like
Terrifying.
it's like the fetus of a dead god.
Interesting.
Yeah.
All right.
Alright, first up in this set we have the Death Slaad.
Yes.
Sort of a grotesque frog thing.
Frog alien infection.
Yeah, I think we actually got a good set during these two boxes.
And this is
a
a
good
set.
set.
This is
Sort of like
premium.
the evil Battletoad. That's
Yeah.
pretty much what we got there.
I believe there's a whole bunch of different Slaadi. There's red ones, green ones, blue ones. Death Slaad are the strongest.
Yes. So
They're like the Slaad boss monster. So
you're following along page 278 in the monster manual. A couple of tidbits. CR10. He does speak Slaad and telepathy. He can use telepathy up to 60 feet. Key thing is he is a shape changer and can shape change into a medium or small humanoid. Can sort of just do that
so I'm a guy now.
whenever he wants.
Yep.
Yeah. So you can just swap back and forth, tempt you into your fate. He's got some beefy spells he can use. So he's a charisma caster. He has plane shift as well as cloud kill. So not only can they turn into a humanoid and sort of mingle with the party, they can at any moment go Death Slaad and rip you to pieces.
Yep, and if they're about to die, just dip out of there to a different plane. You're not chasing them then.
Yeah, they can do pretty much whatever they want.
Yeah, the fact that it's not a fiend, it's not undead, it's just an aberration. There's very few spells that actually like detect aberrations. fact, I think like there's like a couple of types of rangers that can do it. Other than that, like there's no way to tell if it's just it's just pretending to be a guy.
Yeah, fun thing to mix into the party. Maybe have a false ally, something like that, and then at any moment can just.
It's a little. I guess you'd be a little complicated about the fact that it doesn't actually speak common. It knows telepathy.
Yeah.
So if you could find a way around that.
Yep. You're just mute. That's all.
It has the spell tongues.
Oh, there you go.
It does have the tongue spell that you can use twice a day.
They fixed it.
they heard that and fixed it.
But yeah, I don't know how much you guys know about slaad, but they just like lay eggs in people. It's real gross. And then when the eggs hatch, they turn into more slaad. So they're alien infection.
There's a lovely
very
chest
messed
burster image on page 276 of the monster manual of some poor soldier's getting his chest ripped open by a slaad.
If you want to dabble into like the beginnings of body horror mixed with like a little bit of aliens, slaadi are gross.
They're a neat little something fun to play with.
They also scale very well. Like this one's like CR10, but I think they go all the way down to like 4 or 5, the weaker one. So
I think there's a tadpole that even goes lower than that.
Yes, there's a slaad tadpole, which is challenge CR18.
there you go. So you can have an entire campaign that's just an alien invasion.
And the tadpole is what bursts from the chest.
Yep.
They're
And I think as they grow older, they actually change color, if I'm not mistaken.
Bunch of interesting. Again, sort of like the Deathlock, you can theme an entire encounter around the slaad.
from the
Very
plane of
much so.
limbo.
But I think our next encounter here.
He's the tiniest mini, but also possibly the most dangerous mini.
It's a smoky skull.
It's a Demilich CR18.
Going head to head versus the Death Knight for most innocuous looking terrible thing.
Looks like nothing, and then. Alright, so we have a Demilich CR18. Whole host of immunities. He's immune to necrotic, poison, psychic, bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing from non-magical sources. True sight of 120 feet. Whole host of resistances as well. Cannot be charmed, cannot be deafened, cannot be exhausted, frightened, paralyzed, petrified, poisoned, prone, or stunned.
Lich stuff.
General lichery. But a mere action is the ability Howl. Howl allows the Demilich to target a creature within 30 feet. The creature succeeds on a DC 15. If it fails, it drops to 0 hit points.
Yep.
No ifs, ands, or buts. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. Simply
Is
flounder on
that
the
targeted
ground.
creature or like all creatures?
Each creature. So each creature.
Very-
within 30 feet.
that's
So
even-
yeah. So anybody within 30 feet, if they fail that DC 15 con save, dead. Well, unconscious, I guess you could say. And that is just his abilities. It gets worse from there. We've got legendary actions. The Demilich can fly up to half its flying speed. Cloud of dust magically swirls its dusty remains. Each creature within 10 feet, including around corners, is blinded on a failed save until the Demilich's next turn. It also has energy drain. Make a con save. On a failed save, the creature's hit point is magically reduced by 10. If it is reduced to 0 by this effect, it dies. So a lot of things that just make a save or
Mess
it
you
kills
up.
you.
Yes. Well, I believe a Demilich is actually a failed lich. They did not fully go through with the spells or incantations or however the
sounds
Demi
about right.
Yeah,
the
so
lich tried.
yeah, so quick little lore bit. If it's a lich that has failed in its task of
Becoming a full lich.
feeding souls to the phylactery. So obviously, the general purpose of a lich, it's someone who has stored their soul in some form of phylactery, whatever that phylactery may be. In order to preserve that soul, it must be fed. To preserve their soul, they have to feed it other souls. If they fail to feed their soul other souls, then they become a Demilich.
Yep. So
They're
it's
no
a higher
longer
level.
able to gain corporeal form. They're but a smoky skull.
Yep. It's a
flying
higher
around.
level wizard that tried and failed.
They're not very strong though.
Yeah, their actual attacks are very.
It's more
Meh.
the abilities. Yeah,
It's all abilities.
if you could sneak up on one, hit it a couple times, they'll go down pretty
Yeah,
easy.
Just
But,
one surprise round's all you need.
but they're not
Yeah.
dumb. So
AC 20 and 80 hit points.
80.
Yeah, that's like
So-
any, and it's a CR18, so your party at this point can. Some parties could one shot that.
Yeah, I mean, any
Pretty
fighter
easy.
action surgeon could with a good roll, or maybe like a paladin with undead crits
Yep.
or undead smites.
However, still have to find that phylactery. Don't kill the phylactery, it's just going to come back. and fight to die another day.
It's immortal until it's dead.
Mortal until it is dead. That is pretty much how immortality works, yes. A couple other things. This is our first creature with lair actions. Couple of those. So the lair trembles violently. Each creature falls to the floor prone. Another one, and this is my personal favorite because it is the ultimate just sort of middle finger to all magic casters. The Demilich is able to target a creature within 60 feet and surround it with an anti-magic field that travels with that creature.
Yay, anti-magic.
So
You're one wizard or warlock or whatever that came with the group.
yeah, you're
No longer can use magic.
You're
no, it's the
warlock.
cleric
You're warlock?
it's the cowardly cleric that's hanging back. Just
Yeah.
sort of
Yeah, that's a
staying back, trying to do some crowd control. He's not useless.
Eldritch Blade.
If you guys haven't figured this out, we have the cleric and the warlock that are just going head to head right now.
That's generally the way things go. Real quick to wrap up, Demilich can also target any number of creatures, and they cannot regain hit points until the next round. So not only does it have all sorts of abilities that lower your hit points, including your hit point maximum, but then it can also make sure that you don't heal those hit points. And then if it can't do that, it can just nerf your healer into a glorified pit fighter.
Or a
Yep.
warlock. But anyway, before we move
Warlock's
on, I will say, something this makes me want to do. I know there's a really weak undead called like a flame skull. It's like CR2. It just has like, it shoots like a firebolt or something.
Something
That
simple.
just makes you want to like mix them up and be like, all right, you go in the dungeon and you kill a couple flame skulls and you move a couple rooms down and there's what looks like the same thing, but this one's a Demilich, because the models are very similar.
I mean, you could
It's like,
easily
oh.
put like 12 flame skulls and one Demilich all in the
it's
same
like
room floating around
everyone
each
took
other.
a skull, you have to fight it.
Play a little cup game, moving them all around
Russian
the room.
roulette of which one is 15 CR here.
Yep.
What's our
Last but not
last boy?
least.
Last but not least, and the easiest to see on camera.
Yeah. Honestly, though it is extremely grotesque, in my opinion, one of the most well-designed of all of the minis we've seen. It's very detailed. It is exactly what it looks like, so I will give the full unadulterated description.
Straight out of Tomb of Annihilation.
Tomb of Annihilation, page 214, is the source for this. If you don't believe me, it is quite literally the aborted fetus of an evil god. Essentially, some evil god attempts to create something and just decides either they don't want to, they're bored of it, yada, yada, yada. And this is the result.
If you need size comparison of a fetus of a god versus a human-sized figure,
Yeah, so they are
that is what you get.
rather large. It is a Titan, is its classification as a Titan undead. Here we go. Immunities: cold, necrotic, bludgeoning, piercing, slashing from non-magical attacks. Cannot be charmed, exhausted, frightened, or poisoned. Honestly, might be just a tank. So they have 225 hit points, CR 13, AC 7. So easy to hit, but those 225 hit points will take you a while. And while you're trying to chip away at those hit points, they have a whole host of attacks just to sort of mess with you. So they do summon raids.
Yeah.
That is sort of their big thing, is summoning raids to fight you, as well as using life drain, which will deal 8d8 damage, and it also regains that health.
It does.
So it's basically meant to grind down your party to prepare you for something big.
as it heals that damage it does to you.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were talking about this earlier, and I think the biggest takeaway from that is, as far as boss monsters go, it's a little underwhelming, but it's like
It's a sub-boss.
It's a huge. I'd say like a support boss. If you get like a main spellcaster and it's just hiding behind this thing, and it's like
A Demilich,
it just or just a real lich. Maybe they put it in Tomb of Annihilation for a reason. But yeah, it's probably not gonna like it's stationary. It's clearly not moving around, but it complicates things a lot, and it's a big, like you said, it's a big chunky tank.
It's a big wall. Yeah, 225 hit points, and it can not only do damage but heal that damage right back.
It being a aborted fetus of evil god, I feel like more so than all these other minis, it's probably a bit like setting dependent. You probably can't throw this in every campaign.
But you can definitely work a campaign around it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good if you know it's there.
Very very similar to the Death Knight and the Demilich. They're good anchor points for your story.
Yep.
For sure.
Good things, and then both it and the Demilich have a lot of background to work on. There's a lot to play with. For example, the Demilich, you have the phylactery, hunting down the phylactery, trying to find out what you can do to actually kill this thing. Again, with the atropal, just what maniacal god created this
What?
abomination, and
What
then
are you and how did you get there?
hunting them down. I mean, if I were an evil god, you just create one of these, put them at the door to your domain, and say,
Have fun.
"Abandon all hope, ye who enter here," and see what happens.
Yeah, just put 2 of those by your door. I think you're good.
I mean,
Yes, I don't think many people would get through 2 of them, much less 1.
Yeah.
good fun times. Fun times.
But yeah, guys, I appreciate you watching. Remember, this is sponsored by Final Round Game Shop here in Ladson. It's finalround.games, and I appreciate you watching episode 3, guys. Thank you.